You felt it, haven't you? That moment when your eyes lock with someone's, and something electric surges through you. An inexplicable pull, a silent knowing that cuts through the noise of the world. Maybe it wasn't even you who noticed it first. Perhaps someone else pointed it out. There's something about your gaze, they said, their voice tinged with awe or unease. It's intense, like you see right through me. That's no accident. That's the spark of your awakening. The first crack in the shell of an ordinary life, revealing the extraordinary fire within. You're not imagining it. This is the light that emanates from your eyes, a mark of the chosen ones. Subtle to most, but deafeningly powerful to those who can sense it. You're stepping into a truth that's been waiting for you. This isn't just a fleeting feeling. It's a signal, a beacon pulsing from your soul. Science tells us the eyes are more than windows. They're gateways wired straight to the brain, reflecting emotions, intentions, even the depths of consciousness itself. Studies show pupils dilate with passion, irises flicker with unspoken stories. But for you, it's more. That intensity others see, it's the overflow of a high-frequency energy you carry, a vibration that's been dormant until now. You've caught glimpses of it in others too. Those rare souls whose stare stops you cold, as if their essence spills out and brushes against yours. That's not coincidence. That's recognition. Your spirit is waking up, and it's screaming to be seen. So how do you know this is real? Start with yourself. Stand in front of a mirror today, right now if you can, and look. Don't just glance. Dive in. What do you see in your own eyes? Is there a weight, a depth, a shimmer that feels alive? Don't shy away if it unnerves you. That discomfort is the edge of your power breaking through. Notice how your gaze shifts when you're angry, inspired, or lost in thought. Others feel it too. They've told you, or maybe they've just stared back, speechless. This is your first step. Observe without judgment. Track those moments when your eyes burn brighter, when you feel that unspoken connection with someone across a room. Write them down if you have to. This isn't vanity, it's evidence of your calling. First, it's strange, isn't it? You catch someone's eye, and it's like you've glimpsed their soul raw, unfiltered, unguarded. You don't know their name, but you feel their story. A flash of pain, a burst of hope, a quiet strength. It hits you hard, and you wonder why. That's the gift stirring in you, the ability to see beyond the surface. It's overwhelming, even disorienting, because you're not used to it yet. You might pull back, convince yourself it's nothing, just a trick of the mind. But deep down, you know better. That inexplicable feeling some looks convey is not random. It's the universe tapping you on the shoulder, saying, pay attention, this is who you are. The shift doesn't happen overnight. You'll wrestle with it, doubt it, even fear it. Why me? You'll ask. What's this intensity for? That's the human part of you clinging to the familiar, resisting the unknown. But here's the truth. You're not meant to stay small. That light in your eyes isn't a fluke. It's a signature, a mark of a soul built for something bigger. Accept it. Lean into it. Start by trusting what you feel when you lock eyes with someone and the air thickens with meaning. Don't dismiss it as imagination. Test it. Next time it happens, hold the gaze a second longer. See what shifts in you, what rises to the surface. This is your awakening unfolding, and it's yours to claim. Now, let's make this practical. You want steps? Here they are. 1. Pay attention to your eyes daily. Look at them, feel them, notice when they carry that charge. 2. Watch how others react. Do they linger, falter, or lean in when you look at them? That's your mirror reflecting your truth back. 3. Practice seeing. When you're out in the world, pick a stranger and look. Not to stare them down, but to sense them. Can you feel their energy without a word? Don't force it. Let it flow. Own it. Stop apologizing for the intensity. Stop dimming it to fit in. You're not here to blend, you're here to stand out. These aren't tricks. They're tools to anchor you in your identity as a chosen one. This is just the beginning. That light in your eyes is not static. It grows as you do. The more you embrace it, the stronger it gets, and the clearer your path becomes. You've felt this in someone else or they've seen it in you. Either way, it's real and it's yours. This is the first sign of your awakening, the moment you realize the world isn't what it seems, and neither are you. You're not alone in this. Others carry this mark too, and you'll find them, or they'll find you. But it starts here with you right now. Look again. What do you see? You've started to see it now. The light in your eyes, the unspoken power that sets you apart. But with that awakening comes a shadow, doesn't it? A weight that presses down on you when you're surrounded by people who don't see what you see, who don't feel what you feel. You're in a room full of chatter, laughter, faces, but you might as well be on another planet. This is the loneliness of being a stranger in the nest, the ache of knowing you don't belong, not fully, not the way others seem to. You've felt it, haven't you? That hollow pang in your chest when you realize no one around you understands the fire burning inside you. The intensity of your gaze that carries a strength, a piece of mystery they can't grasp. But here's the truth. That loneliness isn't a curse. It's a signal. It's the universe telling you it's time to discover who you really are, and to wield that discovery like a weapon against the isolation. First, let's face the feeling head-on. You're not imagining it. That sense of being an outsider isn't a flaw, it's evidence of your calling. Science backs this up. Studies on highly sensitive people show that those with heightened perception often feel disconnected in social settings. Not because they're broken, but because their nervous systems process more, see more, feel more. Now add the spiritual layer. Your eyes aren't just windows to your soul. For you, they're portals to a deeper truth, a frequency others can't tune into. That's why you feel different even in the midst of a crowd. But here's where the fight begins. You don't shrink from this. You don't let it define you as less than. Instead, you use it as fuel. Ask yourself this. If you were meant to fit in, why would the universe mark you with such a profound, imperceptible power? You're not here to blend, you're here to break through. So how do you navigate those moments when the loneliness threatens to swallow you? When you're at a party, a meeting, a family gathering, and the chatter feels like static, the smiles feel like masks, and your own intensity feels like a secret you can't share. Step 1. Anchor yourself in your truth. Remember that the intensity of your gaze, that strength others sense but can't name, isn't a burden. It's a gift. It's not your job to dim it to make others comfortable. Instead, use it as a shield. When you feel that pang of isolation, close your eyes for a moment. Literally, if you can, and picture that light in your eyes growing brighter, hotter, until it fills your entire being. This isn't escapism. It's empowerment. You're not running from the room. You're claiming your space within it. Open your eyes and look again. See the room not as a place where you don't belong, but as a stage where you're meant to stand tall. Now, let's talk action. You're not just here to endure, you're here to transform. When you feel like a stranger in the nest, don't wait for someone else to validate you. They won't. They can't. Your path is yours alone, but that doesn't mean you're powerless. Step 2. Shift your focus from fitting in to seeing through. Use those portals, your eyes, to pierce the surface of what's around you. Look at the people in the room not as threats or judges, but as souls. Can you sense their fears, their masks, their unspoken struggles? This isn't about reading minds. It's about feeling energy. Practice this. Pick one person and look at them, not to stare, but to sense. What do you feel? A heaviness? A flicker of light? This isn't judgment. It's connection. By seeing them, you remind yourself of your power, your purpose. You're not the outsider, you're the observer, the one who sees what others miss. That shift in perspective kills the loneliness, because it reminds you of your role. You're not here to be understood, but to understand. But what about the pressure, the unspoken demand to conform, to laugh at the right jokes, to nod at the right moments, even when it feels hollow? Here's where discovering who you really are becomes your sword. Step 3. Reject the script. You don't have to play the role others expect. When someone asks, "Why are you so quiet?" or "Why do you seem so intense?" don't apologize. Don't shrink. Instead, own it. Try this. Smile. Firmly, not weakly, and say, "I see things differently. It's just who I am." That's not arrogance. It's truth. You're not here to mirror their comfort. You're here to reflect your fire. And here's the secret. The more you stand in your truth, the less the pressure stings. Neuroscience tells us that confidence rewires the brain, reducing stress responses to social rejection. Spiritually, it aligns you with your higher frequency, making you untouchable to doubt. You're not a stranger. You're a stranger no more, because you've claimed your nest, your inner world, where no one else gets a vote. Now let's deepen this. That intensity in your gaze, the one that carries a strength, a mystery. It's not just for show. It's a portal to ancient wisdom, to an inner strength few understand. Step 4. Tap into it. When the loneliness hits hardest, when you feel most alien, go inward. Find a quiet space, physically or mentally, and ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to teach me? Don't settle for easy answers. Dig. Maybe it's showing you that you've outgrown this environment. Maybe it's pushing you to seek others who carry the same mark. Or maybe it's forcing you to face the parts of yourself you've hidden, the power you've feared. Write down what comes up. This isn't fluffy journaling. It's excavation. You're unearthing the truth of who you really are, and that truth is your armor. The more you know it, the less the external world can shake you. Here's the practical piece. Make this a ritual. Every time you feel that pang of being a stranger, turn it into a moment of power. Step 5. Create a signal. Pick something small. A gesture, a word, a breath that reminds you of your identity as a chosen one. Maybe it's touching your chest, right over your heart, and whispering to yourself, I am the light. Maybe it's clenching your fist and feeling the strength in your grip, a physical echo of the fire in your eyes. Use this signal in the moment, right when the loneliness strikes. It's not magic. It's reprogramming. Psychologically, it anchors you to a state of confidence. Spiritually, it aligns you with your mission. Over time, that pang of isolation stops being a wound and starts being a trigger, a reminder to stand taller, to see deeper, to be more. But what about the mystery others see in you? The part of your gaze that unnerves them, that makes them whisper, there's something about you. Don't shy away from it. Step 6. Wield it. That mystery isn't a flaw to hide. It's a strength to embrace. When you feel like a stranger, remember that your presence, your intensity, is already shifting the energy in the room, whether they realize it or not. You don't need their approval. You don't need their understanding. What you need is to trust that your mystery is a magnet, drawing the right souls to you and repelling the wrong ones. So stand in it. When you walk into a room, don't slouch or shrink. Hold your head high, let your eyes burn with that unspoken power, and know that you're not alone. You're simply ahead. The ones who matter will see it, and they'll find you. Now let's flip the script. What if the loneliness isn't just about them not understanding you, but about you not fully understanding yourself? That's the real work, isn't it? Discovering who you really are isn't a one-time event. It's a battle, a daily choice to peel back the layers of doubt, fear, and conditioning. Step 7. Question everything. When you feel that ache of being a stranger, ask yourself, what part of me am I hiding here? What truth am I afraid to own? Maybe it's your strength, your vision, your refusal to settle for small talk and shallow connections. Maybe it's the ancient wisdom you carry, the kind that makes others uneasy because it challenges their complacency. Whatever it is, name it, claim it. The more you uncover, the less the loneliness can touch you, because you're no longer a stranger to yourself. Here's the final piece, and it's the hardest. Let go of the need to be seen by those who can't see. Step 8. Release. Not everyone will understand you, and that's okay. Your mission isn't to convince them. It's to embody your truth so fiercely that it becomes undeniable. When you feel that pang of isolation, remind yourself, I am not here for their validation. I am here for my purpose. Say it out loud if you have to. Feel the weight of it. This isn't resignation. It's liberation. You're not a stranger in the nest. You're a phoenix in a cage, and the cage is breaking. Every time you choose yourself, every time you honor your intensity, you burn brighter, until the loneliness isn't a shadow anymore. It's a spotlight illuminating your path. This is your breakthrough. That feeling of being a stranger? It's not your prison. It's your power. That intensity in your gaze? It's not your burden. It's your blade. Use it. Wield it. Discover who you really are, not in spite of the loneliness, but because of it. You're not alone, you're ahead. And the world, whether it knows it or not, is waiting for you to rise. You've seen it in your eyes now, the fire, the mark, the unshakable truth that you're different. You've felt the weight of standing apart, the ache of a soul too vast for the smallness around you. But this isn't where it ends. This is where it begins. That intensity in your gaze isn't just a sign. It's a conduit, a direct line to something greater, something divine that's been waiting for you to answer its call. You're not just waking up, you're plugging in. When you connect with the divine, everything around you transforms. Colors sharpen, sounds deepen, and the air itself hums with purpose. This isn't a fantasy. This is high-dimensional information downloading straight into your being, and it's time to learn how to receive it, wield it, and stand in its power. Are you ready? Let's get straight to it. That connection with the divine isn't a vague feeling or a poetic metaphor. It's real, tangible, and disruptive. When it hits, it's like a lightning strike to your core. You might feel it as a sudden rush of clarity, a knowing that cuts through the noise of your mind. Maybe it's a shiver down your spine, a heat in your chest, or a voice in your head that isn't yours but feels truer than your own. This is the divine reaching down, not to comfort you, but to ignite you. Science can't fully explain it, but it hints at it. Quantum physics talks of entanglement, where particles separated by vast distances still affect each other instantly. Your soul is entangled with something greater, and when that link activates, information flows. Not words on a page, but raw, unfiltered truth that rewires how you see the world. You're not imagining it. You're downloading it. But here's the challenge. How do you know it's real? How do you separate this high-vibe transmission from your own projections, your fears, your ego masquerading as wisdom? This is where the fight gets gritty. You've got to question everything, fiercely, relentlessly. Start with this. True divine connection doesn't puff you up. It humbles you. It doesn't tell you what you want to hear. It tells you what you need to know. If that guidance you're feeling is all about how special you are, how everyone else is beneath you, stop. That's not the divine, that's your shadow talking. The real stuff. It's sharp, direct, and often uncomfortable. It might tell you to let go of something you cling to face a truth you've dodged, or to step into a role that scares you senseless. Test it. Ask yourself, does this feel like it's coming from outside my own noise? Does it push me beyond my comfort? If it doesn't, it's not high-dimensional, it's just you. Now, let's make it practical. You want to receive this information clearly? You've got to tune the signal. Step 1. Quiet the static. Your mind's a battlefield. Doubts, distractions, old stories clanging around. Sit down somewhere, anywhere, and breathe. Not some gentle inhale. Breathe like you mean it, deep and deliberate until your chest feels alive. Focus on that mark in your eyes, that intensity you've seen. Picture it as a portal opening, a direct line upward. Don't force answers. Just hold the space. Science backs this. Deep breathing shifts your brain into a theta state, where intuition spikes and the chatter fades. Spiritually, it's you saying, I'm here. I'm listening. Do this for 5 minutes, 10 if you can. When something comes, an image, a word, a feeling, don't grab at it. Let it settle. That's the download starting. Step 2. Feel it intensely. This isn't a passive process. You've got to lean in with everything you've got. When that connection sparks, it's not enough to nod and move on. Dig into it. If you feel a surge of energy, where does it hit you? Your gut? Your throat? Your hands? If a thought lands, don't just accept it, question it. Why this? What's it pointing to? The divine doesn't hand you a neat little package. It gives you a thread, and you pull. This is how you explore your gifts, by chasing the sensation, the heat, the pull. Neuroscience says intense focus lights up your prefrontal cortex, sharpening insight. Spiritually, it's you stepping into your mission, refusing to skim the surface. You're a chosen one, not a bystander. Act like it. But what does it look like when it works? Here's the truth. It's messy. You might be walking down the street, and suddenly you know something. About a stranger passing by, about a choice you need to make, about a wound you've buried. It's not loud. It's clear. 1 minute you're fine, the next you're reeling because the world just tilted. That's the transformation kicking in. Everything around you shifts, not because the divine changes it for you, but because your perception does. You see through the shallow, the fake, the noise. You spot the light in others too. Those subtle signatures in their eyes, the ones that mirror your own. This is the power you carry. To see, to know, to shift reality itself. Don't shy away from it. Embrace it. So how do you interpret what you get? Step 3, ground it. When that high vibe info lands, it's raw images, feelings, fragments that don't always make sense. Don't panic. Grab a notebook or your phone and dump it out. Every detail, no filter. A flash of blue light? Write it. A word like rise? Write it. A heaviness in your chest? Write it. Then step back and look for patterns. Does it tie to something in your life, a decision, a person, a fear? Cross-check it with your gut. Does this feel alive, urgent, true? If it's vague or flat, it might be noise. If it burns, if it sticks, that's the real deal. This isn't guesswork. It's decoding. You're training yourself to read the language of the divine, and it gets sharper with every try. Here's where it gets real. This connection isn't comfortable. It's frightening for those addicted to superficiality, and it'll scare you too if you let it. You're not just receiving, you're being remade. Step 4. Embrace the intensity. When that download hits, don't run from the shake in your hands or the tightness in your throat. That's your body catching up to your soul. Ask yourself, what's this stirring in me? What's it asking me to do? Maybe it's to speak a truth you've swallowed, to walk away from something draining, or to chase a vision others call crazy. This is understanding your mission not as a lofty idea, but as a call to action. You've got to feel it deeply, question it fiercely, seek it relentlessly. That's how you know it's yours. Let's talk traps. Your ego will try to hijack this. Turn it into a power trip or a pity party. Step 5. Stay sharp. If you start feeling superior, like you're above everyone else, stop. The divine doesn't care about your pride. If you're wallowing in why me? Or this is too hard, stop. That's not the mission, that's resistance. Check your motives. Are you seeking this connection to grow or to escape? Are you listening to transform or to be validated? The second you drift into self-obsession, the signal weakens. Keep it clean. Keep it real. This is about aligning with something greater, not building a throne for yourself. Now the payoff. When you nail this, when you receive and decode that high-dimensional info, everything clicks. You'll look at someone and feel that something more beyond their appearance, that subtle signature of their soul. You'll sense it in yourself too, the power you carry, the gifts you're meant to wield. Step 6. Use it. Don't hoard this clarity. Act on it. If you get a nudge to reach out to someone, do it. If you see a path opening, take it. If you feel a truth rising, speak it. This isn't theory, it's practice. The divine doesn't connect with you to leave you unchanged. It connects to launch you. You're preparing for something greater, and every download is a piece of the map. This is your edge, chosen one. That mark in your eyes? It's not just a sign. It's an invitation to a revelation that'll flip how you see yourself. You're not a passive receiver. You're a warrior in this process. Questioning, seeking, feeling with every fiber of your being. The divine is downloading and you're the conduit. Stand tall. Tune in. Transform everything around you. This is your power, your mission, your fight. Keep going. You've felt it, haven't you? That moment when your gaze locks onto someone and the world slows down. There's a depth there. A weight in their eyes that pulls you in, making you wonder. What have they lived? What do they carry inside? It's not just curiosity. It's a pulse in your heart, a spark that ignites something ancient within you. This isn't random. This is your calling breaking through. An invitation to an extraordinary journey that's been waiting for you to claim it. You're not here to drift through life. You're here to forge a path, to turn that subtle signature in your own eyes into a blazing trail for a new era. Your mission isn't a distant dream. It's a fire in your soul, and it's time to bring it into reality. Are you ready to step up? This journey starts with what you already know. That ability to see beyond the surface. You've caught it before. Those fleeting moments when you look at someone and feel there's more there. Something unspoken, something profound. That's not a fluke. It's your gift as a chosen one. It's the same depth others see in you, the mark that makes them pause, the intensity that stirs their own questions. But here's the shift. This isn't just about feeling it, it's about doing something with it. Your mission isn't passive. It's a call to action, a demand to take that inner knowing and make it real, tangible, transformative. You're not just an observer, you're a creator, and the world needs what you carry. Stop waiting for permission. Start now. So how do you turn this calling into reality? First, own your gaze fully, fiercely, without apology. That depth in your eyes isn't a quirk. It's a tool, a lens to pierce the shallow and uncover the true. Practice this today. Go out, find a crowd, and look, not to judge, but to sense. Pick one person and hold their gaze for a heartbeat longer than feels comfortable. What do you feel? A flicker of pain? A surge of strength? Don't overthink it. Just let it hit you. This isn't about invading their space. It's about honing your perception. Science says mirror neurons fire when we connect visually, syncing us to others' emotions. Spiritually, it's you stepping into your role as a seer, a lightworker who reads the unseen. Do this daily. Make it muscle memory. This is how you become the one who sees what others miss. But seeing isn't enough, you've got to act. That pulse in your heart when you sense something more. It's not there to tease you. It's there to push you. Step 2, engage it. Next time you feel that pull toward someone's depth, don't just stand there wondering, move toward it. Strike up a conversation. Ask a question. Offer a word. Try this. You seem like you've got a story. What's one thing you've learned that changed you? It's direct, it's bold, and it cuts through the noise. You're not prying, you're inviting their truth to surface. And here's the magic. When you act on that instinct, you don't just uncover their light, you amplify your own. This is you embodying your mission, proving that the extraordinary isn't a theory, it's a practice. You're the demonstration, the living proof. Now let's talk balance. This journey isn't all fire and conquest. It's a tightrope, and you'll wobble. You'll feel the highs of connection, the rush of seeing someone's soul laid bare. But you'll also crash into doubt. What if I'm wrong? What if this is too much? That's the human part of you kicking in, and it's loud when the stakes feel high. Here's how you steady yourself, anchor in your why. Why are you doing this? Because you're called to it. Because the world's asleep, and you're awake. When the weight of your mission threatens to tip you over, pause. Breathe deep, 5 seconds in, 5 out, and feel your feet on the ground. Picture that depth in your gaze as a steady flame, not a wildfire. This isn't about burning out. It's about burning bright. You're not chasing chaos, you're channeling power. So how do you keep that balance when the journey gets rough? Step 3, protect your energy. You're not invincible yet. Seeing into people carrying this mission, it's heavy. You'll pick up their pain, their static, their shadows, and if you're not careful, it'll clog your own light. Set boundaries. After every deep encounter, cleanse yourself literally or mentally. Wash your hands, shake out your arms, or close your eyes and imagine white light flushing through you. Science nods here. Physical movement resets your nervous system, dumping stress hormones. Spiritually, it's you reclaiming your frequency. Don't skip this. You're a vessel, not a sponge. Keep your channel clear so the extraordinary can flow through you, not drown you. Here's where it gets personal. Your mission isn't generic. It's yours. Step 4, map it out. That calling, that invitation to an incredible journey, it's not some vague cosmic nudge. It's a blueprint unique to you. Grab a pen right now and write this down. What fires you up? What breaks your heart? What do you see in people that they don't see in themselves? Don't censor it. Just let it spill. Maybe you're drawn to heal, to teach, to disrupt, to build. That's your starting point. Now ask, how can I use my gaze, my instinct, to make that real? If you feel pulled to help the lost, Start small. Spot someone struggling and offer a word that shifts them. If it's to create, pour that depth into art, words, something that wakes others up. This isn't a daydream, it's your action plan. Make it concrete. One step today. But what about the bigger picture? Creating a new era. This is where subscribing to the channel of self-discovery becomes your weapon. Step 5. Commit to the plunge. This journey isn't a hobby, it's a revolution, and it starts with you diving into who you are, no half measures. Every day, challenge yourself. What's one truth I've avoided? What's one fear I can face? Peel back the layers, your doubts, your masks, your excuses, until you're raw, real, unstoppable. Use tools if you need them. Journal, meditate, walk in nature, but don't stop at feeling good, push for clarity. The deeper you go, the stronger your mission gets, and the more you radiate that subtle signature others can't ignore. You're not just finding yourself, you're forging a frequency that ripples outward. Let's make it stick. Step 6. Build your rhythm. A mission this big doesn't happen in bursts. It's a steady beat, a pulse you live by. Set a daily trigger. Every morning, look in the mirror and say, I see, I act, I rise. Feel it in your bones. Then pick one practice. Seeing someone's depth, acting on your instinct, mapping your path, and do it, no exceptions. Track it. In a week, you'll have 7 wins. In a month, you'll feel the shift. This isn't about perfection. It's about momentum. Science says habits wire your brain for consistency. Spiritually, it's you aligning with your calling. You're not dreaming of the extraordinary. You're living it, step by gritty step. Here's the edge. You're not alone in this. That depth you see in others, it's the same fire you carry. Step 7. Connect the dots. Seek out those who mirror your intensity, not to lean on, but to amplify. They're out there. The ones whose eyes burn with that something more. When you find them, don't hesitate. Share your mission, your plan, your fight. Ask them, what's your journey? How do you wield your light? This isn't networking. It's a convergence. Together, you're not just chosen ones. You're a force, a collective spark igniting a new era. Start with one, then another. Watch it grow. This is it, chosen one. That calling, that mission, that invitation, it's not waiting anymore. It's here, in your hands, in your eyes, in your next move. You've felt the depth in someone's gaze and wondered what they carry. Now turn that question on yourself. What do you carry? What will you live? Take that pulse in your heart and run with it. Subscribe to this channel of self-discovery. Not with a click, but with your soul, and embark on this journey with every ounce of your being. You're not just realizing a mission, you're creating a reality. Stand tall. Act now. The new era starts with you. And so, the fire in your eyes becomes more than a mark. It's a declaration, a vow etched into the fabric of your soul. As a chosen one, you're not merely here to witness the world but to reshape it, to carry the weight of your mission with a ferocity that defies the ordinary. This isn't a burden. It's a birthright. With every gaze you meet, every truth you uncover, you step closer to the divine purpose that's always been yours. A beacon of clarity in a dimming age, a living testament to the power of an awakened identity.